I don't know if y'all remember this case right here with the dude Carmelo Anthony. Not the basketball player. Young kid, name spelled almost similar to Carmelo, but with the K. And this was the situation that happened with the little kid that, well, not little kid, I guess high school kid that stabbed the white dude with a knife over. I guess he was trying to protect himself. That's what they claim he was doing. But hey, let's see what they talking.
From TMZ, Carmelo Anthony trial begins with a debate over who started that confrontation. Opening statements started this morning in the high-profile murder trial of Frisco ISD student Carmelo Anthony. He is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet last year. High tension and crowds of demonstrators have flooded the Collin County Courthouse where cameras are banned. This trial follows a contentious jury selection process on Wednesday, where an all-white 12-person jury was finalized after Judge John Roach Jr. overruled defense objections to the state striking three black potential jurors. So joining us now to break down the legal stakes is criminal defense attorney Jeremy Rosenhall. Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna say this, and I believe this is what's gonna happen. I believe this case is going to be primarily dictated on race. They're going to make it all about race, all because you had a white kid that got killed by a black kid. Whereas though we seen that when the roles were reversed, things didn't kind of go in the favor of, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, what I mean, seems like certain people get off at certain times. But at the end of the day, this is a public case. So you never know how this is going to turn out. But
Hi, how are you?
Good. All right, so let's just start with these opening statements today that happened at the Collin County Courthouse. How would you describe the atmosphere and just the pressure inside the room as this trial gets underway?
Well, it's certainly a spectacle. I practice in Collin County, Texas. I was in the Collin County, Texas courthouse just this morning. There's a palpable security that's around. The courthouse is a bit of a ghost town because of this trial. And candidly, Collin County is a county of about 1 million people. I don't know that I've ever seen an atmosphere quite like it. They have had high profile cases there before. I imagine it's pretty tense. The court has had some very strict rulings with regards to publicity, with regards to security and things like that. There's just been a really unfortunate history in this case of online misinformation, threats, things like that. So the county is really taking no chances when it comes to security, no chances when it comes to the integrity of these proceedings.
A lot of headlines are saying, those opening statements today were a little bit heated. Break that down for the viewers.
Well, this has been a very emotional and contentious case. I'll start yesterday with jury selection. During jury selection, there were three what are called Batson challenges. A Batson challenge is a challenge essentially claiming that one side, in this instance, the state of Texas, was accused of racially motivated jury strikes.
what I tell you, did I not? I'm gonna let this story play out. But did I not say that? I don't think anybody should be surprised to whatever direction this case go. But trust and believe me, this case is gonna be strictly about race. Has nothing to do about. They're not gonna just focus on the murder. They're gonna use race. The white kid either was racially driven, trying to be a bully, and the black kid was trying to protect himself against a white kid. Who knows? But it's gonna be primarily on race. You already can tell just the way it's starting to go already.
That's a pretty big, I mean, there's just no other way to say it than this, Anna. It's kind of a middle finger to another lawyer when you make a Batson challenge. You're calling the district attorney of the county a racist. And that's something that's kind of fighting words. This is the equivalent, if you will, of a fight that breaks out in the middle of a hockey game. These are professionals, everybody knows each other. The defense attorney and the prosecutor used to work together, but Batson challenges certainly kind of raised the temperature quite a bit. in addition to what the high stakes at this trial already is, I can imagine that the opening statements are every bit as emotional and passionate.
How does seating a 12-person jury with zero black members change the defense's approach in a case that's kind of already creating that intense racial intention that we just talked about?
Wait a minute. Did they just say zero? Zero black jurors? Hold up, hold up. I need to hear that again. That can't be right.
Creating that intense racial intention that we just talked about.
When you're preparing for trial and when you're sort of kind of going into the general defense of your case, you've drawn up this play in your playbook for months now, and the composition of the jury probably isn't going to really impact if you're going to make any adjustments on the fly or anything like that. It's pretty interesting for the reason that Collin County, again, is a county of roughly 1 million people that is very diverse in a lot of different ways with a lot of different demographics. So it's going to be a bit of an anomaly to have a jury that is devoid of any particular race in any case. I think that we probably pay more attention to that on the outside of it, the media, the spectators, other lawyers in the community. We might sort of pay a little more attention to that than they might actually in the actual heat of the trial.
Yo, I'm gonna let him go ahead and say what he was saying, but I'm gonna look up the population of black people in this town. I'm curious, because for there to be no black jurors, dog, it, that ain't good. Especially when you ain't got one, not even two. Shit, I wonder if it's any biracial. I don't know, but y'all, that's starting to look like they. I'm not gonna say setting them up, but it's starting to look like they setting them up to basically look bad to the public because dog, come on, all white and a white dude got killed. Come on, man. That's the same thing as the white cop that killed George Floyd, and you have a whole panel, a whole juror of just all black people. You know he going to jail. You know he going to jail for a fact. So I look, hey look, we seen some weird things happen, but I don't know. Let's see.
We won't know if this was an important factor really until the verdict comes out, and then we might be able to sort of guess about it.
What would you say is the biggest hurdle that Carmelo Anthony's team faces in saying that he was acting in self defense?
Trials are always about emotion. You've got the law and the legal standards here. They're clearly trying to get what's called a self defense charge, but you've got to win the emotional battle. And that's really difficult when on the other side of this case there is a young man, Austin Metcalf, who died. So you're always going to be at a deficit in a murder trial because one side, the prosecution, is fighting for somebody who died, and not only that, it's very clear, Carmelo. The question is not who done it, right? That's not in doubt either. So it's very difficult as a defense lawyer to try to get the jury to understand that, look, this young man's life is in the balance as well. He may have done this, but the reason why he did it, according to their argument, is justifiable. It's a very hard counterweight to Austin Metcalf having deceased.
Are you able to speak about how Texas's no duty to retreat and castle doctrine could maybe come up in this trial?
I'm gonna tell you another thing that's probably gonna play a role in this case. A lot of money that he collected. Now I know that in some cases, like a lot, people try to ignore it, but they're not going to be able to forget that dude got what close to 1 million. They said he rented a home that was a $900,000 home, $900,000 home in the gated community when they did not have money. Not only the GoFundMe, remember he raised a lot of money doing the GoFundMe, and they was living it up. And then all of a sudden, it looked like they went on. I don't know if they went on shopping sprees, but it started looking as if they was just living life up. Something. Look, man. It just shows you that you're gonna have to get all the information in order to make this make sense. But somebody did lose their life. And then when I look up the population for his town in Texas, it's over 247 estimated. Hold on, 247,660. It's the population, but I'm looking to see the demographic. Let me see. The demographic update, it don't really give a good projection of the demographic. But it's definitely black people there, but I'm not seeing, let me see right here. I'm not seeing it. They're not showing it. Population of black people and whatnot. I'm gonna just, you know what? While this play, I'm gonna look up how many black
So
people.
the way the castle doctrine and the no duty to retreat are triggered is those are areas that you are allowed to defend. You're allowed to defend your home. You're allowed to defend your car. It's probably a broader question of how the jury may feel about sort of defending yourself and defending sort of the area that you're in, your own personal space, if you will. So I think that probably, if anything, there's just sort of a tendency in Texas to kind of feel that way, to feel like we have the right to defend ourself, our person, and in specific instances, our house or our car. The bigger issue here in this case, there's three fairly large legal issues. Number one is did Carmelo Anthony provoke the harm in this case? Because if you provoke the harm, you can't hide behind self-defense on the back end. That's the first question. The second question is, did Carmelo Anthony perceive a deadly threat? Not just a threat, but a deadly threat, because that's what entitles him to use, in turn, a knife. And the third question is, okay, even if the jury doesn't think that it is self-defense, is this manslaughter? Was this an act that was not intended to kill?
And this is the thing they're gonna have to try to prove. But remember I was saying before, like when they talking about the population, the total population is around 245,000 residents. But black population is around 10%, which equates to around 24 to 25,000 residents. So give or take about a good close to 25,000. When you look at that and you look at the jury and you see that it's not one black person on the jury, mm, I, it makes you wonder, how did they set up the jury? Because we all done had jury duty, but something's off with this. Like I don't know if they was. I don't know. You can take a guess of what happened, but it's not seeming right. It's not. It's not looking right. Even the way it's set up. You know.
Those are really the three major questions here, and I think that the defense is battling for really all three of them.
How heavily will the defense need to rely on that chaotic and unclear video footage from underneath the track meet tent to introduce reasonable doubt into this factor?
Well, a video, pictures are worth 1,000 words, aren't they? And anytime in the 21st century, jurors certainly expect and anticipate that they're going to have some type of video evidence. Not only that, but you had all of these young people, you had all these high school kids who were at this track meet. They were all under the tent at the same time, and I guess nobody was videoing, which I think is a bit of an anomaly.
This is going to be the thing about this case. I'm gonna end it here, but I want you to hear this. Hear it. Kids mostly always have their phones out, but you can tell that at this time they were in the midst of something. I think there was a track meet. If I'm not mistaken. So they were in a play of like I think they was about to run or whatnot. So that's probably why a lot of phones were not out, because everybody was pretty much active. Somewhere along the line, lines got crossed. This is going to be the part about this case that they're going to have to prove that dude was using self-defense against somebody that he felt very, very threatened by. But the testimony also from the kids, I think, is going to be the one that's going to either, what I mean, make or break this case. It just depends who come up. If anybody paid attention to what was going on, or if what I mean, you never know. You never know how this case is going to play out. But you know damn well for sure that dude Carmelo Anthony going to have some obstacles to get through. But we don't know yet. We'll see how this case start off. But right now, from the way things are looking right now, I'm gonna say this: to not have no black jurors, boy, I don't know. And you in Texas, I don't know. You in a good old bar state, I don't know. I wasn't there. Someone still lost their life, so I can't sit up there. See, a lot of times, a lot of people like to play the game up the race game, but I also understand too when somebody lose their life, especially a child, a kid, it's gonna be some people hurt. And those people are going to be the family members and the friends of that person that passed away. Mm, we'll see. Like and subscribe. Peace.